Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, and we're going to be doing an update on the bull market support band. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So right now, Bitcoin is back to 49K. We did close the week in the sandbox again, right? Below the bull market support band. So we remain in the sandbox. We did, however, at least close above that 50-week moving average. Okay, so we're sort of getting squeezed here between these two major moving averages that we've been following. Again, you could argue the 50-week was held here. You might even say the 50-week and the 20-week held here, and now we're below the 20-week, and we're sort of trying to hold on to the 50-week again. Okay, so that's where we are today. All right. And if you're curious, if you want an update, the 20-week SMA now is it just below 53K, right? 52.8, 52.9, depending on the exchange that you use. The 21-week EMA is around 52K, 51.9, 52K, depending on the exchange you use. So more or less, it ranges from 52 to 53K. So in order to see market sentiment flip more bullish, you want to see Bitcoin above 52 to 53K. Now, 52K at least gets you to the 21-week EMA, but ideally, we'd like to be at the 20-week SMA. All right, and that's all the way up at 53K. So that is the line in the sand that we would like to get back above to maintain the integrity of the bull market. Until then, the market, market participants kind of feel down in the dumps, right? Well, I mean, one of the reasons is because you see a lot of these surges, they're getting just sold out, right? Anytime it surges, you then get a dump back down. We go to 51K, we get dumped back down. We go to 52K, dumped back down. Earlier today, we went to like almost 51K again. We just get dumped right back down to 49K. So, you really want to see Bitcoin get back above these levels in order for the market to regain that bullishness, okay? And look, I know a lot of people are keep telling you that Bitcoin's going to go to 100K in the next 3 weeks. Look, there's no evidence of this. I think it's extremely unlikely that Bitcoin's going to 100K in the next few weeks. So I would not encourage you to buy into that narrative, because if you do, you're most likely going to be extremely disappointed. Okay, extremely disappointed. To give you an idea of just how silly it looks, if you haven't looked at this is kind of eye-opening. If you're someone who still thinks it's going to go to like 100K or 200K by the end of the year, just to show you how silly that would look. This is the end of the year. Okay, so this right here is January 1st. All right, so for Bitcoin to go to 100K by the end of the year, it would need to go to that level right there. So you're basically looking at this wall coming up in time, and looking at that. Look, it's just not going to happen. There's just the chances that happen are so slim. I see some people calling for 140K by the end of the year. That's even a lot less likely, of course. Bitcoin can't just go straight up like this, and in that amount of time. Even if you want to argue that, well, what if you took this move over here and overlaid it? Well, first of all, the market cap is lower, so you have to keep that in mind. But even if you overlaid it, it still would not get you there by the end of the year. It would still take well into 2022 to get you to some of those crazy price predictions that you see. So do not think that these things have to play out. There's just no way, right? There's just simply no way, realistically, that Bitcoin can make it to that level by the end of the year. So just please be cautious. Do not buy into these narratives that, just because it happened like this 4 years ago, it's going to just rocket up in the next 2 weeks, for whatever reason. Okay, so please be cautious about that. I think that the key thing to watch for right now is, we would like to get back above that bull market support band. Okay, and look, right now we need to get to 53K, 52 to 53K. So Bitcoin needs to surge by about $3,000 to $4,000. If we can surge above $3,000 to $4,000, start holding it as support, market looks bullish. Until then, what are you watching? You're watching a lot of altcoins get wrecked against Bitcoin. Okay? Most of them will just keep getting wrecked against Bitcoin if Bitcoin keeps dumping like this below the 20-week. So what happens is, during these phases on a daily basis, Bitcoin can go up and then down and then up and then down. So what it's been doing, right, 47K to 51K, back and forth, back and forth. So what happens is during the same time, altcoins, they might go up initially with that Bitcoin pump, but then when Bitcoin dumps, they get wrecked harder than Bitcoin does. And then when Bitcoin pumps again, altcoins go up, but then it dumps and the altcoin gets wrecked harder than Bitcoin does. And it keeps doing that. So while the Bitcoin valuation might be staying the same below the 20-week moving average, the altcoin pairs are getting wrecked against Bitcoin, right? They just keep bleeding because we're below the 20-week moving average, right? Where the Bitcoin's below the 20-week moving average. So people aren't feeling quite as confident as they were back over here. And so what happens is every time Bitcoin keeps dropping back down, these altcoins get wrecked against Bitcoin. I mean, even Ethereum is having a hard time holding up against Bitcoin right now. Why? Because Bitcoin is below the 20-week moving average. But a lot of the cryptocurrencies just keep getting hammered against Bitcoin week after week that we're below the 20-week moving average. So that's what you can see when Bitcoin is at this phase when it's below the 20-week moving average. The same thing that happened back over here, right? I mean, when it was below the 20-week, we saw the Bitcoin dominance go up for a couple months, right? The Bitcoin dominance just kept going up one week after another when Bitcoin is below the 20-week moving average. We're now below the 20-week moving average again. So do keep that in mind. I think it's important to, obviously, when you take this 1 week at a time, be conservative. Don't assume that the Bitcoin has to immediately break out because it could still be a while. Once we reclaim the bull market support band, whenever that is, then we'd still like to hold it for a little bit before ultimately trending higher. And realistically, that 50-week moving average is now if we get an update on that, because we did hold it as support last week, where is it this week? Because it changes. This week it's up about $300. Now we need to hold it at 47.7K. All right, so now 47.7K is where we would like Bitcoin to ultimately hold to at least maintain the idea that it can stay above that 50-week moving average. If we go to 40K, which is where we held the line earlier this year at the bull market support band, if we go to 40K, then we're clearly below the 50-week. And the problem with that is then we have to get above the 50-week to maintain bullishness. Forget the 20-week. We got to get back up to the 50-week. So that's where we currently are today. Right now, Bitcoin is still holding strong above the 50-week, but still getting rejected by the 20-week moving average. We still have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do here in the short term. When you look at a macro scale, obviously things still look good on the yearly basis. In the short term, of course, this is that phase where people just get wrecked, right? They just get washed out to the upside and the downside. Leverage traders get, liquidated left and right because they keep thinking it's going to go up, right? So bulls keep saying, buy the dip every single day. They keep thinking it's just going to skyrocket to 100K next week. They leverage out of their ears. They get liquidated. Bears say, well, it's just going to drop to 20K next week. They get leveraged out of their ears, and then it pumps back to 52K or something. So watch out. Don't get washed out by these markets. These are the markets certainly where those day trading bots can easily get wrecked because they're not trading a trend. Okay, it's just when it's chopping here, it's dangerous for these bots. It's the same thing over here. It's really dangerous for those strategies. Those strategies are always dangerous, but they're even more dangerous during phases like this. During phases where I'm moving up, people can do okay, but also just holding the cryptocurrency would have also done incredibly well as well. And arguably, a lot of times, just holding does better than those trading bots anyways. But I do want to warn people that if you're constantly day trading, these are the phases of the market where you can just keep getting washed out, wiped out, day in and day out. So do be careful with that. I would say right now we just want to see some type of move by Bitcoin back above the bull market support band to get to some sense of bullishness. Until then, we are still in the sandbox, my friends. We're in the sandbox over here for about 3 months. We are now in this one ended in it, so now we're in our third week of Bitcoin playing in the sandbox. Hopefully we'll come out of it at some point. We'll take 1 week at a time. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. We also do the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. Thank you for tuning in, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.